Oh, hey. So, first off, I want to apologize for this review coming out so late. I had stuff to do and I didn't feel like recording it right away because my work rate is not up to par. But here I am, finally reviewing it for your listening pleasure. Also want to apologize for my voice. I know it's a bit hoarse. I have a cold. It happens, okay? Happens to the best of us. Please no comments about my voice because I understand. So this episode of Raw started out, Seth Rollins made his entrance. He started hyping up the Atlanta crowd for that cheap pop. He says that he's going to win the Rumble, and he refers to this Rumble as being the most star-studded of all time, and I just laughed because this era, I don't know what you would call this era, but this era is obsessed with putting itself over. I've never seen an era in wrestling that kisses its own ass as much as this current era. But moving on, he gets pretty much drowned out by CM Punk chants. He talks about how once he wins the Rumble, he's gonna fight for the title with either Gunther or Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Gunther comes out and he says the championship's not coming off him anytime soon. He talks about the match that he had with Jey Uso back on Saturday night's main event, and then the crowd started doing the Uso baby shark dance again. He called Rollins whiny, which would have been true maybe 10 years ago. Anyway, he says that he used to be one of the best wrestlers in the company, but he's not anymore. Okay, does anyone else see it? Does Gunther remind anyone of like the Pixies from the Fairly Odd Parents? Because I had this pointed out to me by an associate, and I can't get it out of my head now. So leave a comment if you feel the same way. You know, I'm totally not saying that because I'm desperate for engagement on my videos. So Logan Paul comes out, he's making his Netflix debut. He talks about how he's basically good at everything and that he deserves to be the face of the company. And one of the traits that he mentions when he's listing off why he should be the face of the company is that he has couth. I don't know how much couth it requires to film a dead body in the forest, but anyway. He tells Rollins and Gunther that they both suck. And he also declares that he's going to win the Rumble. But here's the thing. Like, I didn't really feel like there was much of a point to him being part of this segment because Gunther and Rollins didn't interact with him. Like, even after he did that promo. And by the way, he's got better mic skills than most people in this company. I'm not going to lie. I find him entertaining. I don't know about you guys. I find Logan Paul to be somewhat entertaining as a wrestler, a sports entertainer, if you will. But, like, they didn't interact with him. Like, he just kind of walks away. And they keep trading words with each other. So I didn't really understand, like, what was the point of him being in the segment if they're not going to interact with him in any way? I don't know. That's just me. So then we cut to a backstage interview with CM Punk. He's being interviewed by another identical girl interviewer. He also says that he'll win the Rumble. Sami Zayn interrupts and says that he's not main event material and walks away. But then we see the debut. I don't know if this is the re-debut of Karrion Kross. I didn't know he was still around, honestly. So if anyone could tell me, like, is he around? Is he on every week? Or did he just come back? Because I know they cut this guy a couple of years ago. I honestly didn't even recognize him. They had to put, like, a graphic at the bottom of the screen that said his name, because I don't think anyone else would have recognized him either. He just kind of shows up and then walks away, and then Cody Rhodes tries talking to Sammy, and then again he just walks away. What was I gonna say? So when he goes up to Sami Zayn, he says something like, so he's not in the Rumble. Karrion Kross is not in the Rumble. But then he's like, but you can win the Rumble, Sammy, if you just indulge in yourself and forget about everybody else. So is he still trying to do the Sean O'Hare thing? Is that still a thing? Or I'll be honest with you, I've Karrion Kross, I have heard good things about him. I just never really knew what his gimmick was. So is he still doing the Sean O'Hare thing that he was doing the last time in his first main roster run? Or is he like a different thing now? Anyway, Cody Rhodes didn't do anything in this segment either. He just kind of stood there. So they cut back to the ring, and they show some rappers in the crowd. Austin Theory is also in the crowd tonight, and Michael Cole made a big deal about him being from Atlanta because they were in Atlanta tonight. So is he injured or something? Is there a reason why he couldn't wrestle? Because I don't see why they wouldn't have him wrestle in his home city if that's the case. It kind of seemed like a missed opportunity. Okay, so our first match of the night is the Viking Raiders versus Judgment Day for the World Tag Team Championships. So I honestly thought that the Viking Raiders got released a couple years ago. Like I said, I have not really watched, so I don't know. I was very surprised to see that they were tag champions, but one of them is just named Eric. Like, he's supposed to be a Viking, but his name is just Eric. Anyway, so they're going up against Dirty Dominic Mysterio and JD Vance. Match was pretty good. The JD guy hit the announce table, and they were saying that it was possible that he had broken his neck. He was fine, but now there's rumors circulating that he probably broke his ribs and might have punctured one of his lungs. I don't know if that's true, but honestly, props to him for staying professional if that was the case. But anyway, why do people think Michael Cole is good? If you look on wrestling Twitter nowadays, you just see people saying that Michael Cole's the GOAT, Michael Cole's better than Jim Ross, like all this crazy shit. But like, all he does is scream in these matches, excuse me. Like, he just starts screaming like a child. Is that what... Are these people, do they just not have any frame of reference of what commentators were like when they had a personality? Because there's no other reason why someone would think that Michael Cole was better than JR and better than Peak Lawler and better than all these different... Even Taz, like, I've heard. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Okay, so second match of the night was Rey Mysterio versus Xavier Woods. So Rey Mysterio came out with a stable of other Mexican wrestlers. They tell us that the girl, Zelina Vega, is going to SmackDown, so she's not going to be part of this stable anymore. I doubt they're going to do anything with her on SmackDown. I feel like this girl's been a part of like about 800 different stables, and when she's out of the stable, she doesn't really do anything. So the rest of the people in the group, like, don't really seem like they have much of a personality of their own. Like, I think, like, it was a missed opportunity to not put them on commentary, because that way you get to know their characters, you get to know, see if they have any mic skills. I don't know if they do anything on the regular, but they kind of just seem like they just walk out with Rey Mysterio and don't really do anything of their own. The New Day got like one of those like jobber, like cut to commercial entrances. Xavier Woods' family was in the crowd and they started booing him. I guess because, like, I think even at this point everyone realizes that Xavier Woods... the New Day completely suck. I'm sorry. I have never been a fan of... Maybe Big E is the one guy that I like, but I've never been a fan of anyone else in the New Day. I just think they suck. Mysterio put on a New Day suck shirt. I thought that was pretty funny. Match was okay. Match was kind of slow, kind of botchy. But Rey Mysterio is like 87 years old at this point, so I can't... Honestly, just props to him for even going out there and not looking like a complete mess, unlike some people. But, I mean, yeah, match was fine, nothing special. So segment 3, so we have Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins are backstage, and Sami Zayn starts apologizing to Rollins for kicking him last week. Rollins basically says that it's fine, just not to do it again. I don't know if they're building towards some kind of feud between these two or what, but it was a pretty short segment. Not really much. There wasn't really much to it. Okay, so then we get a Jey Uso promo. So he comes out with one of the rappers from the crowd. His entrance is like an hour long, and I'm sure it's fun for the people there, but why is his entrance like long? Why is he taking an hour to get the ring? His entrance is... I would say it's longer than The Undertaker's. Maybe they're just doing that to fill time. I don't know. But yeah, the entrance, it was probably one of the longest entrances that I've ever seen. So he also declares that he's going to win the Rumble, and this entire show has just been people declaring that they're going to win the Rumble. I feel like every segment I've said that someone said that they're going to win the Rumble. Not really much of a point to this segment. It was pretty uneventful. Like, no action, nothing really happened. So we get a backstage interview with the women's IC champion. So she declares that she's going to win the women's Rumble. So we, aside from having men saying that they're going to join the Royal Rumble, we now got the women doing the same thing. So WWE is an equal opportunity employer these days. Anyway, she says she's going to win the Rumble and defy the odds, because we haven't heard that about 1 billion times. She also said that she's going to be a fighting champion with the IC belt, but they haven't set her up in a match yet. Like, the title hasn't been defended yet, so I'm not sure how long ago it was that she won it. I know the title is still pretty new, but I personally probably wouldn't have said that in a promo if they're not going to schedule her any matches for the time being, because they haven't really even announced anything. So American Made, which is like the Kurt Angle ripoff stable, interrupts, and the girl who looks like Beth Phoenix, Ivy Nile, says that she's going to win the title from her. They show some animosity between Ivy Nile and one of the guys from American Made. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming they're a heel stable, so of course, they always have to do the stupid cliche where, when there's a face or tag team or stable, they're best friends, but when it's the heels, there always has to be some kind of friction. So then they cut to some Otis and some Japanese guy that were like warming up. They looked like they were warming up for a match, but they didn't wrestle on the show. So I don't know what they were like warming up for. But anyway, one of the guys from American Made just calls them pathetic, and then the segment ends. So I guess, is Otis, like, I know wasn't he Money in the Bank a couple years ago? So Otis is just like a jobber these days. Like, is he not on TV? Someone let me know. Okay, so our third match of the night is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bianca Belair and Naomi. Okay, I could have sworn Naomi was in TNA, but I guess not, because she's the women's tag team champion with Bianca Belair. There wasn't really much of a story for this match. It was just kind of a match that was thrown in there. Match was fine. There was some sloppy spots here and there. I would say that Bianca's probably the most gifted technical wrestler in this group. Liv and Raquel Rodriguez won. I don't know if they're trying to like build towards them having a tag reign. I don't know if... So Liv Morgan is part of Judgment Day, I think, right? Or she's at least dating Dominic Mysterio in storyline. But I don't know if Raquel Rodriguez is. There's so many women on this roster now. It gets very confusing. But yeah, it's a fine match. Don't really have much to say about it. So they treated us to a throwback of the Cole and Lawler match at WrestleMania, as if anyone wants to remember that. But, I mean, these current fans do think that Michael Cole's the GOAT, so maybe they do want to remember that. I don't know. So we get another video package for Penta. He says that he's a great wrestler, and he also says he's going to win the Rumble. But he says that it's on Sunday, which the Rumble is on... I thought the Rumble's on Saturday. So they were really that lazy that they couldn't like try and just reshoot that or try and edit it in post-production. Like, they couldn't... I don't think they even watched this video package twice. Because if they did, they would have caught an obvious error like that. Or they just don't care. So our next segment of the night is promo between Paul Heyman and Drew McIntyre. So Heyman comes out, he starts putting out Reigns. He shows the cover for the new 2K game that has Reigns on it. By the way, a lot of the show, aside from it being bogged down with regular commercials, like in between the segments, there's a lot of shilling for WWE products. Like, they shilled for the game, they shilled for the trading cards. I don't know if it's to pad out time, but they do it for like 5 minutes. Like, it's a pretty significant amount of time on the show. So I could have sworn that Reigns was had a promoted appearance to be on this Raw, or maybe an upcoming Raw, but he's not around. Heyman's doing all the heavy lifting. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I like Heyman, but it's kind of, you expect certain people to be on the show and they're not. Like, they take all this time off. Like, even Cody, why wasn't Cody on the first episode of Raw on Netflix? Why do they wait 2 to 3 weeks to have him show up? Like, you would think that they'd want these people that they're trying to promote on the show every week. So anyway, McIntyre comes out and says that he's the daddy of the bloodline. He does a rundown of everything that he did for the past 5 years, which was nice because I haven't really actively watched. Crowd was chanting for Reigns the whole time, and they basically all said that they didn't care about McIntyre, which kind of made me sad. McIntyre seems like he's kind of gotten a little bit lost in the shuffle, a little bit buried. I like him, honestly. I think he's a good performer. I always thought he was good. At least for the past couple of years. So that kind of makes me sad. I think he deserves better. He also declares that he's going to win the Rumble because that's just like a required entry to, I think, get into the arena. Is to, you have to cut a promo saying that you're going to be part of the Rumble this year. So our main event of the night, it was Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Michael Cole starts off by telling us that this match has happened about a dozen times already. Okay, if that's the case, then why do it? Like, you would think that people got sick of it by now. And Sami Zayn hasn't won, I don't think, a single one of these matches that they've had. So why would it... We know what's going to happen. We know he's not going to win this one. That would be ridiculous. I mean, I hate 50-50 booking too. But, like, you also don't need to have the match 12 times and have the guy lose 12 times. Anyway, was fine match. Finish was kind of rushed because the referee was asking them to finish it off. Anyway, after the match, McIntyre beats up Sami Zayn, but then Cody Rhodes makes his Netflix debut and comes out and tries and save Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn can't win a match in a set of 12. So we've had about 12 matches so far. He hasn't won a single one. And he also can't survive a beatdown without help. At this point, it would be fucking ridiculous if they actually had Sami Zayn go after a world title at some point when they've already established that he can't win anything on his own. I mean, he's been in the company for like 10 years at this point and they still haven't done it. So I don't know what I don't know if he's ever really gonna, get that world title run. I don't see it happening. I know a lot of people clamor for it, but I mean, they would have to be completely ridiculous to do that after all that they've done to establish that Sami Zayn can't win anything. Anyway, Kevin Owens comes out and starts beating up Cody Rhodes. Sami Zayn accidentally kicks Cody Rhodes just like he did last week with Rollins. So I'm not sure if they're trying to build anything here with, like, Sami Zayn being, like, unstable or being, like, too quick to jump the gun or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, that's how the show ended. Once again, it ended at, like, 10:30-ish, which I think is a lot better than ending after, like, 11. I mean, when it was on USA, most of the time it felt like it went off after 11. It went off at, like, 11:15. So that was nice. Once again, just a 2.5-hour show, but I feel like so much of the show is like they're padding out, like they're trying to pad out time with like these commercials in the middle of it and these like pointless segments that don't really need to be happening. So, I mean, they make way too much money for the advertisers to ever go back to 2 hours, but I am like praying to God that they will. Show was okay. I mean, show was fine. I would give it like a C or a B once again. I'm trying... there's good and bad in these shows. There's a good, bad, and a whole lot of pointless with these shows. I will possibly be reviewing the Rumble. Possibly. I do have a life, so I can't be reviewing like 50 hours of wrestling a week. Maybe might be doing AEW Dynamite. I don't know if anyone would actually even be interested in that because no one's really watching Dynamite. But anyway, that was my review for Raw of this week. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that other YouTube hack shit. Peace out.